Welcome to Vadodara Institute of Engineering. In the practical series of computer networks, today we are going to see OSI model. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. It is a set of rules that explain how different computer systems communicate over a network. This model was developed by ISO, International Organization for Standardization. This model consists 7 layers and each layer has specific functions and responsibility. There are 7 layers in OSI model, starting with the first one: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Now we are going to see the function of each layer of physical layer. The lowest layer of the OSI model is the physical layer. It is responsible for actual physical connection between the devices. It contains the information in the form of bits. It is also responsible for transmitting individual bits from one node to the next. When receiving data, this layer will get the signal received and convert it into zeros and ones and send them to the next layer, that is data link layer, which will put the frame back together. The physical devices that are used at this layer are hub, repeater, and cables. This is the structure of physical layer. The next layer is data link layer. Data link layer is responsible for the node-to-node delivery of the message. The main function of this layer is to make sure data transfer is error-free from one node to another over the physical layer. When a packet arrives in a network, it is the responsibility of the data link layer to transmit it to the host using its MAC address, that is the physical address. Packet in the DLL is referred to as frame. The physical devices that are used in this layer are switches and bridges. Now the functions of data link layer. The first one is framing. So framing is a function of data link layer. It provides a way for sender to transmit a set of bits that are meaningful to the receiver. The second function of the DLL is physical addressing. After creating frames, the DLL adds physical address of the sender or receiver in the header of the each frame. The next function of the DLL is error control. The data link layer provides the mechanism of error control in which it detects and retransmits damaged or lost frame. The next function is flow control. The data rate must be constant on both sides, else the data may get corrupted. Thus, flow control coordinates the amount of data that can be sent before receiving an acknowledgement. The last function of the data link layer is access control. When a single communication channel is shared by multiple devices, the MAC sublayer of DLL helps to determine which devices has control over the channel at a given time. The third layer of the OSI model is network layer. Network layer works for the transmission of data from one host to the other located in different networks. It also takes care of packet routing, selection of the shortest path to transmit the packet from the number of routes available. The sender and receiver's IP address are placed in the header by the network layer. The segment in the network layer is referred to as packet. The network layer is implemented by networking devices such as router and switches. Next, the functions of network layer. First is routing. The network layer protocols determine which route is suitable from source to the destination. This function of the network layer is known as routing. Logical addressing. To identify each device inter-network uniquely, the network layer defines an addressing scheme. The sender and receiver's IP address are placed in the header by the network layer. The fourth layer of the OSI model is transport layer. Transport layer provides services to the application layer and takes services from the network layer. The data in the transport layer is referred to as segment. It is responsible for end-to-end delivery of complete message. The transport layer also provides acknowledgement of the successful data transmission and retransmit the data if an error is occurred. Protocol used in transport layers are TCP and UDP. At the sender side, the transport layer receives the formatted data from the upper layers, performs segmentation, and also implements flow and error control to ensure proper data transmission. It also adds source and destination port number in its header and forwards the segmented data to the network layer. Generally, this destination port number is configured either by default or manually. Next is functions of transport layer. The first function of the transport layer is segmentation and reassembly. This layer accepts the message from the session layer and breaks the message into smaller units. Each of the segments produced has a header associated with it. The transport layer at the destination station reassembles the message. The second function of the transport layer is service point addressing. To deliver the message to the correct process, the transport layer header includes a type of address called service point address or the port address. The services provided by the transport layer: connection oriented services and connection-less services. So both the services are provided by transport layer. The fifth layer in OSI model is session layer. Session layer in the OSI model is responsible for the establishment of connection, management of connection, termination of sessions between two devices. It provides authentication and security. Functions of the session layer. First, Function of the session layer is session, establishment, maintenance, and termination. The layer allows the two processes to establish, use, and terminate a connection. Synchronization. This layer allows a process to add checkpoints that are considered synchronization points in the data. These synchronization points help to identify the error so that the data is resynchronized properly. The next function is dialog controller. The session layer allows two systems to start communicate with each other in half duplex or full duplex mode. The sixth layer in OSI model is presentation layer. The data from the application layer is extracted here and manipulated as per the required format to transmit over the network. JPEG, MPEG, GIF are standards or formats used for encoding data, which is part of the presentation layer's role. The function of the presentation layer first is translation, so that is from, for example, ASCII to EBCDIC. Second is encryption decryption. Data encryption translate the data into another form or code. The encrypted data is known as ciphertext and decrypted data is known as plain text. A key value is used for encrypting as well as decrypting data. The next function of the presentation layer is compression. Reduce the number of bits that need to transmitted on the network. The seventh layer in the OSI model is application layer. At the very top of OSI reference model stack of layers, we can find the application layer, which is implemented by the network applications. These applications produce the data to be transferred over the network. This layer is displaying the received information to the user. The protocol which are used at these layers are SMTP, FTP, DNS, etc. The main function of the application layers are network virtual terminal. It allows a user to log on to a remote host. Second one is FTAM, File Transfer Access and Management. This application allows a user to access files in a remote host, retrieve files in a remote host, and manage or control files from a remote computer. Next function of the application layer is mail services. It provides email service. Directory services. This application provides distributed database sources and access for global information about various objects and services.